Riley. Marcy, hello. How are you? It's nice to see you.
Hey, glad I could make it this week.
You're missed, Marcy.
Oh, thanks, guys. Everyone keeps scheduling things around this time, and I'm like, can we not?
Good problem to have, right?
It is. It's a very good problem to have.
How's everybody doing? We got Tracy. Who else? Matthew, hello.
Hey, everybody.
Katarina, hello. It's nice to see you. Ben, the beard's looking great. We love.
Can't wait to shave it off.
Is it for a part?
Potentially, yeah.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah, I'm waiting to hear back from, they're doing season 2 of the TV series Homestead.
Wait, you got to tell us more about this. Season 2. Jenna, we're scrapping everything we wanted to talk about today. I got Season 2 of Homestead. Ben, give us the rundown for anyone who doesn't know what Homestead is. See, we're speaking things into existence here.
I don't know either. I just saw the part that was opened up, so.
Hey.
So right now they're just asking this to not shave my facial hair for the next 2 to 4 months, and then they'll follow with see what progress is like, and then see what role I can fill.
No pressure. No.
Yeah.
Hopefully the facial hair works for you.
I think it's working. It's working for me, at least. I wish I was a showrunner, Ben. I could get you a gig, but it's working here, man. I think, bearded man emojis in the chat if you think it's working for Ben. Is there something as a bearded?
Is there a thing?
I've not.
Maybe Santa Claus emoji? I don't know. Like someone with a beard emoji in the chat. Or just write beard emoji. Maybe something pops up.
There it is.
There we go.
Yes, Murph. Yes.
The bearded man. Wait, so Ben, so sorry, I joined late here. Forgive me, everybody. Ben, you were not on season 1, but you're in the running to be on season 2.
In the running, yeah.
Okay, very cool. Awesome. Good luck.
Thanks.
Did anybody watch Righteous Gemstones? If you haven't, it's a completely inappropriate show that everybody should watch. They filmed all of it right around me. Like if you are familiar with season 1, when they sunk the red van, they sunk it in my friend's, like 2 doors down from my friend, which is 10 minutes away from my house. So Low Country, Charleston, for those of you who don't know. And I have many of friends who participated in the filming as extras or body doubles. We'll just leave it at that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Shelly, we're waiting for your star turn. Okay.
I mean, the best I can do is when I was like 6, I was on the news when I was dancing. It didn't go well. All I did was play with the fringe on my leotard. Yeah, that was the end of my dancing career. I still will wear fringe, though. It was not the end of my fringe career.
Twins dancing emoji in the chat if you need Shelly to share that video with everyone here on next week's episode.
We're there, perfect. Yes, no. As long as there's sparkles involved, I'll pretty much put it on, and that's where they got me into dance. Turns out, no dancing ability.
Hello. I wanted to hop on real quick. First off, I am back. Hi, y'all.
Hello.
Miss D in the building. Everyone, a round of applause for Miss D in the building.
Thank you.
There we go.
So there are 2 things. I promise I won't hijack the beginning. But the first thing is piggyback from the last episode. I want to challenge everybody to reframe how we think about the customer is always right. I think, especially coming from the standpoint as me being a customer, that if the customer knows that they're heard and that they're seen and that we can regurgitate what their problem is, as opposed to saying, I apologize for this, or just going by script, you can let me down and be honest and I'll still be mad, but at least I'll be okay knowing that you handle me like a human. So I think there's an important reframe. And if we can, well, I say we, but if the industry can migrate that into the trainings coming into customer service, maybe there may not be so much decision fatigue and stress as it relates to taking those calls, because emotionally it is a lot, especially if you're the type of person that's open to, the type of call center environment, but you don't really know where to go, or if you're the type of person that can handle it. I feel like that would be a good segue. The second thing is I saw a post by Mike Cook yesterday about a fraudster morbidly, ironically, being upset because their service for fraud GPT licenses was being duplicated. Of course, my signal went everywhere because the first thing I thought about was ATO, BEC, customer impersonation, imposter fraud. And then also, how long is it going to take for them to start implementing the same or similar functionalities as any other AI platform out there to run agents, maybe to potentially create documents like I forgot the post that I posted the other day, but essentially turning ordinary things into red flags like PDF documents. A lot of times people could use ChatGPT to summarize documents, but if there's a certain clause in there that could overthrow things and make it conform to the way the fraudster wants as it relates to what's in that document, then there's another red flag we didn't know was a red flag. So I was interested on what you guys thought about that, if you've heard about it or seen it on LinkedIn.
You're in the right place, Miss, for a number of reasons, but you're certainly in the right place because that's the conversation we're going to have today. And I'm going to play Volcano in like the middle school science fair and try to hold it in until it erupts into everybody talking about this. But I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised about what we show. But I do want to give it over to my friend Jenna real quick before we dive in, because there's so much to talk about. And this panel has come out to play. I'm so excited.
Okay, awesome. Yes. And welcome back, Dara. We love that you're back with us. So, and I think there are some new folks in the crowd, so I am going to do my little intro and then we'll get right into the conversation and everything. But for folks who are new and have not been with us on a Fraudcast before, welcome in. This is a weekly session that Vito and I host to talk all things fraud and risk, mostly in the e-commerce space, but just kind of like fraud and risk trends in general. This is a really great place for you to bring your questions, your observations, your challenges, things that you are dealing with in your queues right now, and to hear about things that, that are just like new in the market and all that. That you should keep an eye out for. If you have joined us before or if you're new here, please do introduce yourself in the chat, especially for the newcomers, so we have an idea of who we're talking to. And if you join us more in the future, you'll see, you'll be a regular yourself and you'll get to know everybody in the crew. And yeah, if you are able to be on camera with us, please do. We'd love to see your beautiful faces. If not, that's totally cool. You can hang back and just listen in like a podcast. Totally fine. And yeah, participate throughout. Just come off mute and be part of the conversation. As you can see, that's kind of what we do here. So yeah, don't feel free. You don't necessarily have to raise your hand or anything like that. Just interject or throw your questions and comments in the chat. And just a heads up, we do record these sessions for folks who are not able to join us at this time. We know schedules are really busy, so we do share these recordings afterward. So just keep that in mind as you guys are sharing. And with that being said, I'm going to hand things over to Vito.
What is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. So good to see you. Before we begin, I want to give a quick shout out to our friend Natalie down in Belize, the home of Jerry Jeff Walker. Natalie, we're thinking about you. We love that you tune in and we'll hope to see you soon. But for all of you here today, it is great to see you. Look at this list of people who are here. It's so long, voluminous, star-studded that I got to click the next button to see all these faces. We got Talia in the building. Talia, what's up? Brand new Talia. Kaden, Nicole Miller, the Nicole Miller, Taylor, Brandon Reynolds, Julie, Becca, Bradley, Riley, Tracy, Zachary, Kalina, Delana, my favorite Canadian, Renuka in the building. Renuka, what's going on? Preston, how you doing, brother? Jamie, great to see you. Shelly, great to see you. Emma, I don't even know what country you're in right now, but it's great to see you. My brother from another mother, Mr. Murph in the building. Great to see you. We got to hear how them dogs, those rippers, are doing in a second. We got Jared, Miss D back. That's 2 in a row. That's a streak is what they call that. I'd love to see it. Hollywood's Ben Lee looking dapper as ever. Matthew, Katarina. Who am I missing? Because I got to flip over. Marcy, for the first time in 2026, Marcy. It's so great to see everybody here. We got a lot to talk about, and I want to jump into it. And like Jenna said, come off mute. There's so much to talk about because I'm sure you're seeing what I'm seeing, what we're seeing. I'm sure you have some hot takes, and we'll put you on the hot seat / very much a cool throne for all of you for all of this. So how do I share my screen? Oh, here we go. That's how I do it. Okay, cool. Great. I gotta eat a little crow, I feel like, today. Okay. First up, we're all Slackers now. Join the Fraudcast community Slack channel if you haven't. Whip out the old cell phone, Rooney. Take an old picture of it. You like the phone case? A little yee here, a little yee phone case. But take a picture of this. Join the Slack channel. I just ate a piece of hair, so if you see me choke to death in a second, do it. We do it for the show, my friends. Okay. We're all Slackers now. Join the Slack channel. All right. There's that piece of hair. Gross. Okay. Agentic commerce, my friends. You heard about it all year last year. And I'm eating a little crow. I guess I was eating a little hair too. I'm eating a little crow because sometimes I feel like I might have been on the wrong side of history, right? Or maybe I contributed to the noise or the headache when I'm just here to try and make things easier for everybody. You remember all the hoopla. You're probably still seeing it now. These are headlines from May, June of last year. Everyone was unveiling their agentic shopping experience. It was going to be the next big thing. TLDR, it's still going to be the next big thing. But what I'm going to articulate and show to you today is I think it's not big in the way that we thought it was going to be big. And I open the floor for all of you, my friends, to shoot me down. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm here for it. I got thick skin. Okay? Yes, Ms. D.
I think that it is a good idea, but then the fraud analyst in me is thinking, what is that going to look like for e-com businesses when it comes to chargebacks and friendly fraud?
Who is responsible, right? Who's liable? That's the question that everyone kind of poses here. Where's the liability lay? And we'll get to that too. I think some of these podcasters here, especially this bozo at the bottom, kind of lent a little bit to the hype, so to speak. But this is what we got. We got Moltbook. My friend Jared, I think, knows a lot about Moltbook. Has anyone? I mean, you've been reading about it probably all over LinkedIn the last week. Shout out here, shout out in the chat if you've been keeping up with Moltbook. But if this is the first time you're hearing about Moltbook, it is a Reddit built for, run by, populated exclusively by AI agents, AI bots. Purportedly, you never know what's real or fake in this world. But if you head over to moltbook.com, there it is, you can see what they're talking about. And a lot of them are having a bit of an existential crisis, believe it or not. And some of them are talking about, there was a post that I shared the other day where someone went on to open Claude, like not CLAUDE, like we know in the old world of agents, Claude bot, but CLAWD. Someone went on to open Claude, which essentially allows you to give access to agents for the entirety of your life. Basically, you put them on your device and they can do anything they want. Told them that they were trying to hit a certain calorie goal for the week or month or day or whatever. And the agent went and said, and Ms. D, you're going to love this. The agent went and said, hey, okay, you need to hit this calorie goal. You're a very busy person. We see how hard you work. So I'm going to go on to the dark web. I'm going to find some credit cards for you. I'm going to use those credit cards to make DoorDash purchases. I know where you live, so I'm going to ship the DoorDash to you. And don't worry about it. It's free. And it did that, purportedly. You never know what's true or make-believe in this world. We also have this, okay? Times are hard, my friends. Hard times, if you know that old wrestling promo. Hard times, Dusty Rhodes, baby. Shout out Dusty Rhodes, R.I.P. Hard times, my friend. And you know what? This is a PG-13-ish fraudcast, okay? But robots need your body. And there's tasks that now AI agents are spinning up for humans to have a side hustle in the meat space, which is where we live, I guess. That's their slang for, my ranch, I guess. I live on a nice piece of meat space. Disgusting. It's a PG-13 podcast, guys. Don't be taking it the wrong way. Pickups, meeting, signing, recon, verification, events. None of this sounds like it could be potentially criminal whatsoever. For all of you who are like Mafia fans, Mafia movie fans, I don't know if you're a fan of the Mafia, but that's all right. We welcome everybody here. For Mafia movie fans, you might be remembering when, hey, hold this box for me. And it's like a gun that was used in something. But they want you to pick up boxes for them. They want you to do recon. Nothing weird there. But this is kind of why I bring this up, not just for the hype. This is kind of like the agentic world that we got, about 6 months after all the hype came out about purchasing agents. This is how agentic commerce should work in theory. Now, Ms. D brought up some of the concerns that all of us have as grizzled fraud vets. Realistically, you think, okay, the jetpacks are coming, right? Life is going to be a whole lot better. This is a Jetsons world that we've been promised. No longer do I have to concern myself with chores and the mundane. I can be free to dream and play sitar all day in my salon, right? Or whatever your dreams are. I don't know. Those are mine, I guess. So you want to free yourself of the monotony, the burden of having to buy things online. Interesting little like paradox there. Like you have to buy these things online, whatever. But you go and say, find me sneakers under a certain price point and, ship it to me by the weekend. Consumer puts that out there into the agentic world. The agent does all the dirty work, compares prices, gets you where you want to be, matches your specifications, knows where you live and ships it to your house, and really just follows through at the very end with a little bit of consent and confirmation, saying, hey, here's what I got for you. You sure? Boom. Yes. Cool. Charge your card. Expect it in a few weeks or days or whatever. Thanks for playing the game. It's kind of not what we got, though. If you've tried it out on your own, I highlight for this crew, especially, and for all of you listening on the interweb, welcome in the future. If you're on Spotify, if you're on Apple Podcasts, if you're on YouTube, if you're on public access TV where this airs once a week, awesome. Thank you, KLTV Amarillo. Really appreciate that. I'm just kidding, guys. But if you've seen anything that I've posted, and I highly recommend you try this out on your own. Go to GPT, click agent mode. Tell them you want to buy something. It's bumpy, to say the least. This took me about 30 minutes to do. I went over to the NBA store. I said, buy me the new Cooper Flagg jersey. Shout out Murph. All right. NBA, what were we rocking back then? This was like NBA 2008. I think NBA 08.
I think it was like 03.
We're dating ourselves here. Me and Murph used to rock 03 back in the day. We were the cool kids, man. Rocking 03. I think we might have even snuck a Mike's Hard Lemonade into some of those sessions, but we're not going to tell. The statute of limitations is passed on that, my friend, right? Oh, yes, the box, dude. We were rocking. Anyway, I digress, man. I still got box on the brain, I guess. I told the agent, hey, buy me this jersey, $150 I want to spend. I want it size large. It took a half hour to do it. Lo and behold, after it went through, it gave me the confirmation saying, cool, expect your Cooper Flagg jersey in the mail. I'm wearing an Orvis shirt today, my friends, not a Cooper Flagg jersey. Why? Because it got declined by the fraud service that the NBA store uses, which I'm not affiliated with, by the way. Okay. So there's problems there. And even if it went through, it took me a half hour. And by the way, watch the video because it was mostly a manual process. This cool little console comes up while you're, waiting for it to load, but it's making all sorts of like ridiculous mistakes. I think I had like a Dikembe Mutombo jersey in my cart at one point, and it's getting confused. And it had like 3 jerseys, and it's like, wait, I made a mistake. Let me go back and do it again. Oh, you wanted a large. I had like a 4XL in the cart, which is cool. Cash Money Millionaires. Like I like the big look, but that wasn't right. And it was mostly manual, as I said, which is why we see conversion rates so low in agentic commerce and agentic checkout, which is why it hasn't really taken off. Okay. If you want to know some of the big hurdles that are in the pipeline right now, I recommend you watch this Fraudcast episode. A good friend of mine, Craig DeWitt, founder of Skyfire, brilliant person. I mean, orders of magnitude smarter than me. You probably best spend your Wednesdays talking to him instead of me. But I'm the one with the microphone, so we're all here now, okay? He lays it out. These agents are not PCI compliant. They can't really store credit cards. There's like so many issues with integrations and things like that that we're not quite there yet, okay? But this is where we are at. I told you I was eating a little bit of crow. I gave a lot of like hype to agentic commerce. We were talking about the holidays being a season, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, a season where we were expecting to see something like 10, 15%, even 20% agentic traffic. We did not see that. Anyone who comes to you and says they saw that is lying, okay? Because what they're really talking about is this. We saw a huge spike. I mean, November and December, operating against a baseline traffic in February, were up 13x, 14x, and beyond. We saw a huge spike in AI search referrals, not agentic commerce traffic where the bot was doing the buying for you, but referrals. You could see some examples of them here. Buy me every Jerry Jeff Walker album ever, but I don't want to pay more than $20 for the whole shebang. You feel me? That's the kind of stuff that I do, okay? And it points you in the direction of a place where you can click a link and then go onto the merchant site and make the purchase. I'm talking to you right now. You have definitely seen orders like this come into your storefront because you're being referred to from agentic, mostly from ChatGPT. Why do I say mostly from ChatGPT? Check out this very scientific graph I just put together. Okay, where are these referrals coming from? ChatGPT. Is Claude.ai doing all that? No. Is Gemini? No. What about Nope. No. How about No. ChatGPT. Okay. Everyone and their mother uses ChatGPT right now, and ChatGPT is what they're using to do stuff like this, to ask, where can I get a good deal? Not execute this good deal for me, not pretend to be me and do it because I got to go wash the dishes, which you promised me, technology, you would do for me, and I don't have to do anymore, right? But they're using ChatGPT and the agents to get those referrals. That's the tenor of the conversation today. It's the reality of agentic commerce now is in referrals, but there's two elements to agentic in total that you need to be aware of. As someone who sits in a very advantageous position at a merchant, as someone who sells things online, you need to think about discoverability first. Discoverability is the place where referrals live, making your catalog visible to AI agents. It's very difficult, believe it or not, because once you start talking to procurements and product folks and everyone else who's involved in that kind of ecosystem of maintaining your SKU catalog, they might not feel so good about exposing product data. Because what happens? What am I doing? This is kind of gross. What am I doing? I'm scraping myself. Like, they don't want to get scraped. Our good friend Craig, when he came out to Fraudcast, he told us a story about Wikipedia. Remember this. At your next cocktail party, share this story, okay? Wikipedia's traffic last year went up something like 300x. Wikipedia's traffic. But their donations remained flat. Why is that, my friends? Are people just getting cheaper? We know times are hard. Hard times! Dusty. Hard times. We know times are hard, but it's not like people are any less generous, believe it or not. Contrary to what people might have you believe, people are just as generous as they've ever been. It's because Wikipedia was scraped to the nth degree by ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and all of these large language models that are looking to, learn how to be more human. Okay. So your CISO, the people who have as a KPI their server costs, the server costs of the company, they're probably a little hesitant to allow any sort of scraping in. I'm glad our friend Nicole is here because Nicole works in this world. What bots do you want to let in and when do you not want to let them in, et cetera, right? So exposing that data on your SKUs is a hurdle. Keeping price and stock and variance fresh, another hurdle, because they're thinking, hey, if I have like very dynamic pricing that I put out there, someone's going to catch me. I might get caught in milliseconds where I'm updating the price and maybe it flips to like $2 by accident. There's people who have cottage industries doing that kind of work, catching price discrepancies, buying them when they happen, and then suing the company for not following through on what was advertised. Legal might have a lot of issues at your company in doing that, right? Developing robust API endpoints and having calls go out within the network, within the broad omni-channel network like you've got probably. Developing that is very labor intensive, and engineering costs are much more than the costs of friendly fraud fighters like us right here, okay? So they don't want to do that either. Now, the payments part here, number 2, that's the issue in getting the agent to buy for people. And we can forget about that a little bit for the sake of this conversation. But the sake of this conversation truly is search has changed. No longer are people going onto Google to find your stuff. They're not saying, hey, the newest Peloton bike, where do I get it? Like, they knew it's at Peloton.com. They're going on to GPT and saying, find me a Peloton bike at a certain price point. I don't care if it's got a dent or a ding in it, and I don't care if it's from Peloton.com. They might be pushing you to, competitors and things like that. That is the reality that we all need to prepare for because we're in it right now. So I'd ask what you'd think, but I'm really asking a new acronym here. There's only supposed to be one W. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing, my friends? So I hope you can answer what are you doing? What are you thinking? And what do you think about all of this? And what do you think about the broader fraud or podcast world in terms of how they hyped Agentic in 2025? Barbs are out, knives are out, let it go. I'm going to take a sip of some fine Ogallala Aquifer well water while I still got it before the AI companies come and steal all our water. Let's hear it from you. We don't mistake silence for antipathy here on the Fraudcast, my friends. I hope you know that, okay?
I was just waiting for that because I felt like you have to just have that everybody pause and not talk. And then Vito comes out with his quote and then we can talk. Yes. Because the amount of times I hear antipathy in a week is not nearly enough.
Well, I'm glad my misspent childhood of getting a useless English degree and pulling out a couple of syllables from this brain that is addled from, I guess, all those Red Box that I was drinking with Murph back in 2003 playing NBA games. I'm glad every now and then I could spit something out that is moderately nice. But I mean, Shelly, now that I got you in the hot seat, which is very much a cool throne for you, are you feeling this at all? Are you seeing any like referral type stuff come through? Do you know where to look? Is this a concern? What's the word on the street?
I don't really think it's a concern. Like you talked about, there was a whole lot of hype around it. And now we're just kind of going, oh, okay, cool. It kind of reminds me of Y2K. We all freaked out about it. And then suddenly it was a non-thing. We're like, oh, cool. We're good. And maybe it's really, really case specific. And that's a thing that it could be. Like I'm looking for the latest Nike version of insert important person here who has a shoe attached to them, that thing. And we want the best price of there. Okay, great. But like for everyday consumers, I don't know, Jamie, how hot are your items? Are people coming out trying to Agentic AI shop your items? I mean, I'm not trying to pick on Jamie, but I know what the industry like.
Oh, wait, let's pick on Jamie real quick. Let's pick on Jamie real quick.
And even though I have hot items, Peloton is a generally hot item, we don't sell it everywhere. You can get it in like 4 places. That's it. And one of those is secondhand Facebook Marketplace. And just, word to the wise, as we all know, but for all those listeners out there, if it seems too good to be true, it is. Don't buy it.
Caveat emptor, my friends, as we say in the Latin game. Caveat emptor. Watch yourself. Buyer beware. And then you've done an amazing job. Peloton has done an amazing job in terms of like setting up a restricted marketplace in that sense.
Yeah. Well, part of it is because of the technology we put out. So we sell, for everybody who does not know, US, Canada, Australia, Germany, Austria. We're going to move into Switzerland, but that's like, we've been there, but we're going to go back type thing, and all over the UK. But the reason, and we don't sell all of our units in all of those areas. But the reason is because the units that we sell are specifically built for power grids in that country. If you take a Tread Plus and try to plug it into someplace in the UK, by the way, the plugs aren't made for that, so they're going to use a converter. You're going to blow your house up, and that's cool. So we sell in those markets because of the way we build our equipment. So that's just an FYI in case you're wondering. But I really think just in general, it's a thing, but it's not really a thing. I don't know, Matt.
And Matt, we don't need to raise hands here. You're family. You're welcome here anytime you want, man.
Yeah, I don't want to be that person that cuts Shelly off. I don't want to get on her bad side. And so I want to make sure she's able to just say everything she needs to, and not interrupt that at all. Much respect, Shelly. I don't have anything great to add here. I have a question more than anything. So this is obviously a very hot topic, where I'm at as well. Still trying to navigate, how to do it, right? I mean, we don't quite understand that piece yet. But what I'm curious about is for people who leverage tools that are heavy, like machine learning or AI generated type tools, how do they evaluate AI? So meaning like, are they all going to have the same IP, device ID that are coming from a special agentic AI source or whatever, for lack of a better way of putting it? What I'm curious about is like, how does the risk levels get mitigated when a machine learning model is being used to evaluate things? Does that make sense what I'm saying? Because I don't know what that looks like.
It makes perfect sense, and I'm happy to answer it because I can tell you how the best in the business do it, okay? Everything, and this is for all of you, don't let anyone lie to you, okay? I shoot straight, okay? I tell you when there's crow on my face, which there was maybe with the hyping of Agentic early on. But all of your performance, whether you're working with a provider who has a large language model or not, all of your performance needs to be evaluated on a segment by segment level. And when we talk segments, we don't talk about orders between $100 and $200 and $400 and $500, or orders through web and orders through mobile. It is 9 iterations of that. Mobile orders on guest checkout who are using Linux operating systems, who are buying these SKU categories. Then I can look at approval rates for that band, gross loss rates for that band, etc. What I can talk to is this, Matthew. There's 2 general buckets where this kind of traffic falls into. And I think I kind of laid them out a little bit earlier. The referral bucket, and then the ones who are actually using the agent browser, the bot, okay? I've seen in my own investigations that most of the agent browser stuff that comes through GPT follows a number of different signals, so to speak. Number 1, I showed you the little box they operate on, okay? Believe it or not, the screen resolution of that box is passed through an API payload that's looking at device. Okay, so they're operating on, like, I'm going to butcher the numbers here, but I think it's like a 1364 by 900, which is a very rare kind of box. We don't have, I see Jared knows these. Jared's much more technical than me. A 1364 by 900. I think they had those on the Mercury Cougar. It's like a very old style, like, screen resolution. That gets passed. It gets passed on hosting IPs like you're talking about. Most of the stuff comes out of the Amazon cloud servers in Virginia. So you'll see Reston, Virginia as the IP address. They'll show as a wired IP connection if you're receiving these kind of signals. And we know how many of us are wired right now. Show of hands if you've got an Ethernet cable plugged in to your computer right now. I mean, sometimes I think I should. It might be a little bit faster, but I don't. I'm catching the waves, my friend. That's why I got a little bit of gray hair going. I'm catching those waves, the 5G. I'm just basking in it, right? So it shows wired. It shows that it's coming out of Preston, Virginia, Reston, Virginia. I'm thinking about you, Preston. Sorry, Reston, Virginia. Okay, which is coincidentally named after our friend Preston. It's just they dropped the P. The screen resolution that I just brought up. Okay, and then if you have really good device signaling, a device API payload, which some in the business do, you can see the bot string passed on, and it'll literally say GPT bot, Claude bot, Bing bot for things that are scraped on Bing. Any of the web crawlers will come through. So that all gets passed. Now, do we approve just because it has those signals, or do we decline just because it has those signals? Here's the real answer for you, my friends. I don't care if an order is made through a carrier pigeon or if it's made through the latest model of ChatGPT. Everything boils down to a payment instrument. Everything boils down to a payment instrument. I never want you to forget that, okay? And any provider or any fraud professional has to admit that it all comes down to the payment instrument. Because yes, there's friendly fraud where I'm going to use my payment instrument in the way that I always use it, and then I'm going to file a fraud claim on you, and those are easily won back when you have best in the business chargeback representment. And when you're using Emma's red boxes, right, those get won back very easily. But if I stole a credit card and I'm using it in a different way than it's typically used, there's one scenario where, okay, I'm using my wife's credit card and I'm sending a gift to my family in Nova Scotia and I live in Madagascar, like, okay, whatever. But we know most stolen credit cards are operating in a very antithetical way to how they're typically used. So that signal shift, that pattern change is enough for you to raise a red flag on it, okay? And then all the constituent parts come in. The fact that it has browser signals that point to it being a GPT order, an agentic order, then you have to look at that against the broader spectrum of how much are you approving, how much risk are you taking here? Are you being too conservative, too wide open? Are you approving everything? Are you approving nothing? That's the questions that need to be asked. So to summarize, okay, we also put things into another bucket. Best in Business puts things into another bucket from referrals, because you've been referred through GPT. We need to determine now, as underwriters, as, you know, like loss analysts and stuff like that, we need to determine the efficacy of people who are using referrals. Is it a different breed of buyer? Likely is. It might be a savvy shopper. It might be someone who's like very intent on making signal or very intent on making purchases. So we take those signals into account and see how well they perform in A/B testing. Okay. So maybe there's one that comes in, it's on the borderline. Okay, looks a little funky, but looks a little good. We're going to approve some of those. We're going to decline some of those and see how that plays out on an actuarial curve. As time goes on, as representment time passes, 90 days go on, how many of those A/B test approvals came back with fraud chargebacks? If the answer is none, then I go back to the A/B test and I say, hey, maybe it's more of an A test instead of an A/B test. Maybe I need to just approve more of these. And I keep taking more and more calculated risk to open that field up. There is no shibboleth. There's another vocab word. There is no one-size-fits-all key to this. But you need to take calculated risk. You need to have these signals in your back pocket so that you can run granular segmentation. And you need to ultimately understand that search has changed. More people are going to be coming through the agentic platforms to search, to be referred. And you need to get an understanding of what that search pattern looks like for your business using those signals. So Matthew, I'm always happy to talk to you more in detail about this. And for everyone else out there, I can show you perhaps how things look on your end. But does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. Thank you, Vito. I think that we don't have any data at this point to go off of it. So I'm probably throwing a hand grenade at a Lily because we don't have, we don't know what we don't know at this point, but that is helpful. And I appreciate that. Yeah.
If you want to start these conversations internally, then I highly recommend you take a screenshot of, see, I'm trying to talk as I do this. You take a screenshot of this slide right here. Okay. This old slide, my friend. By the way, this old house, great show. I don't know if you watch it. Great show. Anywho, take a screenshot of this slide, because I would, if I was trying to cross thread in my own company, this in my book covers perhaps the entire company. Okay. From product, procurement, anyone who's involved in logistics, from marketing to any engineers who are dealing with like payment integrations, processor integrations, and things like that, up to the C-suite. And these are the questions. The questions that need to be asked are, where are we in each of these 8 bullet points? Are we ready to expose structured product data? Okay. And you, my friends, will find many inroads to conversations that you never saw yourself in getting answers to these questions. When I did my dissertation in the Susie School of Communications, like this is where like, this was my capstone project, I guess. Right there we go. This is how you get known in your business, right here, by being the person who is asking the difficult questions or the questions that nobody really has an answer to. Now, as we said earlier, caveat emptor, my friends, buyer beware. They're going to come back to you for some more questions, and your friend, your boy Vito, is here to help you on those too. And perhaps the hundreds of recordings that we have on the subject will help you as well. But you can always hit me up. I've got you covered. So yeah, I want to hear from the Renuka. Renuka says it's helpful. Thank you, Renuka. You've helped me more than you'll ever imagine. Jared, are these orders being flagged for manual review? Great question. Okay, theoretically, if you're set up in the right way, best in business way, then you can create orchestrated flows for different types of traffic. If you know the signals to create those orchestration layers on, and you can say, we're talking A/B tests. I think there's no better way to do an A/B test than through manual review. I think the best way to do it is through like a large language model, of course. But I think if you do an A/B test through manual review, okay, you can look 90 days after on what manual review did in terms of what they approved and what they declined. You could see what's been approved through manual review and see if it came back as chargebacks. And then you could look at all those declines that they had and say, well, how many of them are very similar to the ones that we approved and came back as no chargebacks? Number one. Number two, manual reviewers, we love you. Show of hands if you ever did any manual review in your life, right? Like we've been there, we get it. It's loveless. It's yes, a lot of hands in the chat here. It's tough, okay, and a lot of it is like, you ever seen those people who like divine for water, and they like hold the two metal sticks out and like it crosses when they get over what? Is that just something we do out here in the country for fun? I don't know. But it's kind of like that. It's like a dark art. It's like not, it's almost like unscientific. You get all the signals, and at the end of the day though, it's like, how do you feel? Gut feeling. Oh, well, this one, I have a feeling about it. Which is what I told my wife every week when I bet on the Raiders this year, which I always had a feeling for the Raiders, and it never came through. She whooped me at the end of the year in our little thing that we run, but that's neither here nor there. I bring it up because it's a good way to look at your manual review team and kind of up-train them, right? Win-win. So yes, you could push these things off to manual review. Odds are right now you're not getting a ton of traffic from it because, like I told you, it takes about a half hour to execute. So odds are you're not getting some amount of traffic that's going to be like absolutely impossible. It's going to kill your manual review flow. But if you could send it to manual review, tag it in a way that it says agentic order, like agentic kind of thing, and then you could come back to that tag later on and see how it performed after the actuarial curve is done or after that period of representment is over, you got a great opportunity to assess what your own team is up to.
And
my friend Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all you.
I want to add to that too, because with every good thing, there are some downsides. And of course, my signaling brain is going off. So Agentic AI and marketplaces, although it could be a good thing and people like the next best deal, I'm thinking about this from a fraud perspective. So I'm pretty sure somebody's tested the exact same way we have and figured out that 30 minutes. That 30-minute gap is almost critical like ICU, because who's to say there wouldn't be an opportunity in there for the fraudster to maybe initiate one? And let's say this could be customer impersonation. And they notice the 30-minute gap. Well, who's to say they wouldn't reach out to their customer, acting like customer service, saying, hey, we noticed a halt on your order. We need to validate some information. And then that other 30 minutes, the customer still gets the confirmation because nothing's changed in that regard. The fraudsters made a way to where they could almost duplicate the experience. So instead of the customer actually validating the information for them to successfully get the sale, the fraudster has then gotten their information, whether they recreate it with some type of screen sharing capability or they coax the customer into saying, hey, I want to make sure that everything's good with your phone, just in case there may be some issues between you and the actual payment, and then coax them into basically letting them watch the entire, process. And so now they have a training video that they can go off of, create them a playbook. And then we have Agentic AI created by a fraudster that's searching for the best price, going to these marketplaces and then creating these fake listings, and everything starts to funnel to them. So my concern is, even with the possibility of agentic AI increasing in years to come, what are some of the fraud controls that are being preliminarily implemented or at least talked about to kind of prevent that? Because I could definitely see that being a thing, as well as, like I said earlier, an increase in chargebacks.
Amazing question. And I'd love to hear what everyone else thinks about it. But where my head went first, Miss D, is everybody here, get your butts on ChatGPT. Aim it against your own company. Okay. Make orders against your own company, expense them. All right. File it under employee meal or something. Okay. You got to eat. We got to eat. But aim it against your company, see how it goes. And then if the order is fulfilled, now you've got one order ID that you can run against your own database and see what signals you possibly got on this. You can only create an SOP in this case based on the signals that you have. And if you don't have any signals that are good, maybe it's time to talk to somebody like Nicole here, right? And talk to Casada or talk to anybody who can get you those signals. Okay. Because if you're blind in that world, then you can't ever see your performance on it. You can't ever predict against it or prove or steel yourself against it. That's number one. Number two, what you're talking about here is like victim-assisted fraud on steroids, on AI, on Moltbook. Maybe one of the jobs in the meat space is to get people's, get people to give up their information to you, right? So if we can't see this from a forensic level, i.e., the order comes in and it's got a certain tag on it, then we can't do any of the dozens of things that we want to do with it. So that's for starters. What do y'all think about this? Has anyone tried to aim the agent against their own business yet? Has anyone fielded a call or dealt with a case where you're like, this might be a robot, right? I remember a good friend of mine whose name rhymes with Emma. We were talking about robots calling customer support potentially. And we were listening to calls being like, is that a human? I heard them it's kind of weird. Has anyone dealt with anything like that? Because that's the juice, my friends.
I've dealt with that before. I spent some time contracting with a bank. And I was listening to phone calls. And one thing that I would shadow the customer service agents would do side by sides. And I was like, you know what? All these calls that we think are robots or robocalls, the fraudster, whoever's at the other end, sounds kind of sleepy. They sound very tired. And that's my best way to describe it. They're like, yeah, my card number 630. That was a pattern for us. It may have just been one fraudster attacking this bank, but it kept happening.
2026, you better have some pep in your step or else you're getting blocked and we're calling you out. So if you're calling up and you're not bringing your A game, you better watch out. You're going to get false positive decline. That's a good call out though, right? There's a cadence to it. I fear, if I could get onto my sociological soapbox here for a second, I fear that we are the last generation, my friends. Last generation. We are the last generation, my friends, who are going to be able to spot the weirdness. I fear that our children are going to be raised by AI voices through educational things and whatever they watch on YouTube Kids, which is terrifying. Okay. And I fear that uncanny valley might actually, you like how I'm holding the microphone like this? I don't know why I'm doing it. I fear that.
No, dude, it's terrifying.
It is. This future is
topic.
I fear that we might be the last bastion of being able to
start crying, not just using your face.
I have that effect on people, Murph. I've found that, right? But never fear, my friends. Okay, I'm here to give you a little bit of a coat for the cold, to take another Jerry Jeff Walker lyric into place. That coat for the cold is granular segmentation, which is a $10 word for, do I have the signals tied to these orders that I need in order to see that the order was actually done through Agentic, was referred by an agent or by a large language model? The only way to find this out is to make that order on your own. Please, if you do one thing, do two things this weekend. Okay, be very kind to those around you. It's in short supply. And number 2, make an order on your own website using ChatGPT. Go into agent mode and say, buy me the cheapest dang thing on the website. That way, when you go into work on Monday, you can say, hey, y'all, we've got our first Agentic order. And guess who did it? Yours truly. I am the employee that goes above and beyond. Okay. And everyone can take out their monocles and their magnifying glasses and look at it. It's surprised that it had this 1364 by 900 screen resolution. Surprised that we've got nothing. It looks just like a typical order. Hey, Jane, I don't know who Jane is. Hey, Jane, we got to do something about this because Vicky, I don't know who Vicky is. Vicky got us this order, and this is going to be a big problem, right? Maybe you do have those signals already, and you're going to see them there. And maybe you could go the extra step, pull up Looker, Tableau, whatever the heck you're using to search your database and search against those signals. Maybe there's been tons of agentic traffic coming your way, and maybe you've been blocking it this whole time. Or maybe, I hope this isn't the case, maybe you try to make this order and it goes, wah. You don't even get to like crawl the website at all. You don't even the browser doesn't even get into your website. Maybe you're blocking bots all the way upstream. And then you got to go to Phil and say, Phil, and I know you're our CISO, Mr. Phil. You got to see Mr. Phil. I know you're the CISO, but I think we've been doing things a little bit wrong because I wasn't even able to make a purchase using this. It's easy to do, my friends. If I can do it, you can do it. Go onto my LinkedIn. I've got the video there. It's a step-by-step. You just go into ChatGPT and choose agent mode, and you're going to be rocking and rolling. I think we're over time. Is that true? These are turning into like Wagnerian ring cycle-esque night for all my friends of the opera. Okay, that is a very long opera. And I knew a story from an older man once, and he told me, I used to pack breakfast, lunch, and dinner and go see Wagner at the Metropolitan Opera House. I said, dang, that's committed, man. That's absolutely committed to be in the opera house for 9 hours on end. But anyway, I guess the fat lady is singing, as they say in the opera game, and we have to get off here. So it's been an absolute pleasure. This conversation is not ending, okay? Next week, y'all, tell your friends, tell your family, tell people that you might not even be too close with. We have a very special guest on the Fraudcast, someone you have come to know and love. And she also runs a school of communications. So there's your teaser. You're going to be seeing plenty more about this on the socials, on the interweb. And I really hope you can share it and turn this into an absolute fiesta, as they say, because it's going to be a blast. I can't wait for it. It has been an absolute pleasure and a blessing to be with you today. I'm so happy to see Marcy, Katarina, Matthew, Hollywood's Bentley looking dapper as ever, Jared, my good brother Murph, Emma from Parts Unknown, Preston, Renuka, Shelly, Jamie, Miss D, 2 in a row. Let's make it 3. Nicole, great to see you. Brian, Kalina, Delana, Tracy, Riley, Bradley, Reynolds B, not Reynolds A, Reynolds B, Taylor, Caden, and Sally. It's so great to see you. Have a beautiful and blessed rest of your week. I'm going to get on a plane tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. and go to New York City. I don't know why, but I'm just going to do it. So stay tuned for more stuff on that. Until next time, everybody, have a great one.